Hi, Bill Henshaw here again, and even another current events article that I recently came to my attention, and that is that now, with at least the Bay Area bridges in San Francisco, the Bay Bridge and the Golden Gate Bridge, they're now apparently going to suspend all cash payments. In other words, the cashiers are apparently going to lose their jobs, although I'm reading that they're going to offer them jobs in some other capacities. Who knows about that? But the big deal here is that they're now going to, either have photographs of all the cars going through with their license plate and either sending you bills, or they have these special things you can put on there that it just rings it up,
Fast track.
the fast track, and it gets taken care of in that way. Well, my response to that is, being Joe Blow, a citizen here, is what makes you think to the people running the bridges that I have to pay any toll to use the bridge at all? Where's the factual foundation and legal basis for that? I have a right to travel, and that particularly includes going to various government offices that I might have to get to. And in my case, that would include getting from here to Sacramento if I have to go up there for any reason, and I'll be crossing one of those bridges sooner or later. And if you're going to restrain me from doing that on the grounds I owe money, that's a real problem. That said, doing away with the cash only, you're making some assumptions here, especially with the cameras and license plates, that there's nothing but vehicles that cross these bridges, vehicles of a type required to be registered. Wrong. What I would have is a conveyance. I have a common law conveyance and a property right in that that's not subject to any lien, most particularly for crossing any bridges. I mean, you're already on the ropes on this one from the get go. So we have that in the mix. Now we have, if you're going to take out all the cashier booths that you had, then if I come up to the bridge and I'm holding this fiat paper currency that, oh, by the way, still says on here, valid for all debts, public and private, and you're going to refuse to accept it unless I park my car, get out, and walk over to your office, and maybe not even that will be remaining. But if I get there and I make an offer to discharge the obligation, which is what you do here, you don't pay the debt, you discharge the obligation, and you refuse, you've extinguished the obligation yourself by your own acts. I think in California that might be section 1686 of the California Government Code. Um, so there you discharge it, and of course, as some of you know well out there, HJR 192, what did Congress say? It's against the public policy of the United States to pay debts. So how in the world would I be able to pay one? The real constitutional issue comes here, though, because what the bridge authorities are making the assumption here is that nobody but citizens who owe their what I call birthright citizenship to Section 1 of the 14th Amendment are using these bridges. And if that's true, then they can't bring any challenges to any of the acts I've just described, because Section 4 of that amendment, which no one ever reads, nobody ever gets beyond Section 1, what does it say? Validity of the public debt of the United States authorized by law shall not be questioned. They can do whatever it is they want to do with the damn Federal Reserve notes. Not a thing you can do about it. Different issues. And I've got them, and I've got them in spades. And you can find out about that, by the way. Send me an email at youwinincourt@gmail.com. Information about my constitutional defense document packets. Unlike anything you've ever seen before. And it's a lot of stuff that's in there. And get it all at once. It's not a one-shot deal here, by the way. You can use this in a lot of different, bridge tolls, traffic court, criminal court, you name it. A lot of government agencies, the Franchise Tax Board, because they're all based on these fiat paper currency. And if you don't know, as Federal Reserve admits, I got a letter, Federal Reserve Bank concedes, dollar is undefined. We don't know what the hell it is. And if it's defined, it's now defined by the President, acting as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. That identifies the jurisdiction of their courts for what it is, federal, regional, martial law rule. They can't do that. That suspends the writ of habeas corpus, Article 1, Section 9, Clause 2, which can only be suspended in cases of rebellion or invasion, and only temporarily. A state of emergency declared by the president pursuant to the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. You can look it up, 12 U.S.C. 95 A and B. State of emergency. Can't suspend the writ with that. It doesn't work that way. That's the kind of argument we have to start making to get ourselves back where we should be and get this crap cut out of my former hometown of Washington, D.C., and get power back where it belongs. And I'm talking here really about counties, not so much state capitals, although in smaller states you can make an argument there. But California, get it back in the counties. The local government that we have much more control of, and we're going to have a lot more representatives with a smaller ratio of representation. Now we can go and demand they have office hours so we can go in and meet them, especially when they're not in session, and let them know what it is we want and what we don't. That's a lot closer to the Republican form of government envisioned by the framers in Article 4, Section 4. Most of it happens locally. And these local dumbasses here and the judges should be on our side. I go to great lengths to see to it that I get that message across. I did that in South Carolina. I don't know how effectively in my felony case, but I know there were people there that were very uncomfortable with the situation I was in. Now, the good news about that, I had a 7-month vacation there as a political prisoner, but I had never had a bad day. As I knew from day one, I got arrested in the library out here for crying out loud, and I knew from day one I hadn't done anything wrong. I didn't even know what the charges were for a while, and when I found out I was practicing law without a license, I laughed. So I wasn't thrilled to go coast to coast, extradited for 5 months, but I knew every day I was never in any trouble. And the first day I was there, if I had a video of this first hearing I got after 90 days being in jail, and the judge reads the charge, practicing law without a license, and I said, geez, the problem with that is, Judge, I don't practice it. I get it right the first time. Shut the bastards up within 30 seconds. And I'm the one there standing there in a red jail suit, shackled hand and foot, and they're the ones in trouble with the law, and everybody knew it. That's priceless. I can't begin to describe that feeling. Closest I can get maybe is Andy Dufresne breaking out of Shawshank. You get that kind of feeling. And I'll say this about that. Andy, to me, was a little deficient. It took him 19 years to get out of there. It only took me 7 months. So go figure. But in any event, this toll issue looks like a small one on paper, but trust me, it isn't. The issues that arise here, just as they do in the traffic court, the magnitude of the issues. When you're saying that California is not a state, and there are no states, that it doesn't get any bigger than that. So, yeah, and by the way, that I'm reminded about that with the 14th Amendment. I've got a special video on that you can take a look. I talk about a lot of the reasons why it has never been in existence in 150 years. It violated all 6 articles of the Constitution. Not there. And the effect of that amendment, as construed, especially later on by the courts, was that it did away with the states. But if you want an opinion of a justice who knew a lot better, and was one of the top 10 on almost everybody's list of justices, Hugo L. Black. Check out his solo dissent in a case called Connecticut Insurance v. Johnson, 303 U.S. 77, page 87. And he lays it out exactly what happened with that amendment. And that's the magnitude. And I'm sure, by the way, he got the Dear Hugo speech after that. Don't do that again. You're going to wake the American people up here. It's not what we want to do here. So...
What about horses or on the bridge or bicycles
that's
too?
another thing we haven't discussed, by the way. As far as I know, there aren't any tolls. If you're on horseback or with bike, that's a good question. I don't know whether they charge you on a 2-wheel bicycle. That's hard to justify. Although they think in Sacramento that a 2-wheel bicycle is a vehicle. Who the hell knows? I'm not sure if a horse is. What I would love to know, if I'd been around 150 years ago, to see if anybody would have been bold enough to give John Wayne a ticket while he's sitting on a horse for driving DUI on a horse. I'd love to see that. Probably got shot dead. But in any case, this looks like a teeny little issue, as so many of them do at first blush, but when you understand the situation, and that's my job to teach you where you get to that point, it does take a little time and effort on your part, but well invested. And you teach your children and put them far ahead of the madding crowd that doesn't know any better. until we get the word out and a lot more people know. That's what I really want to do. And they can't beat us. They just simply can't do it. So, oh yeah, anyway, thank you for listening. Subscribe to the videos, like them, tell your friends, and send me an email at youwinincourt@gmail.com. Thank you.